Good evening, everyone. Hope you guys are having a great Monday. Mondays for me are a lot less stressful than they used to be, so that's great. I actually look forward to Monday now because it's just to get back and start doing what I love to do. So I hope you guys had a great one though as well. I'm gonna, if you're watching the recording, welcome. I just jumped on a few minutes early to allow people to be notified that I was on, and hopefully they can join in. So you might want to fast forward just a few minutes and then we'll get started with the content for tonight. Hey, Carissa. Janine. Hope you all had a great day. All the scary storms, if you were in the south, are gone, which is good. And it was freezing outside today to me. I guess when it's anything lower than like 70, it's like cold. Hey, Renee and Janine. I'm glad you guys could hop on. I'm going to wait just another probably 30 seconds and then I'll get started. Sometimes it takes to notify everybody that I'm live. So I'm excited about this topic, and I've never done a class like this, but just in the last few months, or really, I mean, longer than that, I feel like there's a lot of misinformation out there. So I wanted to kind of, maybe clear the air, or just, maybe just let people know some things that they haven't known before, and kind of, sorry. I know it has been absolutely so hot that, down here it's unreal, and I know I just feel like I've gotten spoiled with the high temperatures. It's really fine with me though. Some people are mad, they want it to be cold. I'm like, no, my kids like to play outside, so I'm fine with it being 70 and you have to wear shorts sometimes. It's crazy, but what do you do? South is just like that, I think. All right, well, I'm gonna go ahead and get started. We got 2 minutes after. So this class is going to be all about, basically if you already know you use essential oils, if you already do use them, why would you want to think about choosing the brand doTERRA? And a lot of my classes are, yes, same thing there, right? In the South, it seems like it's just kind of crazy weather this year especially. But normally in my classes, I'll go over the basics and just tell you about generally about essential oils. I do mention, that I use doTERRA and kind of a little snippet of why I do, but mostly it's just general information. So if you're joining or watching the recording and you, this is all new to you, you might want to watch one of those classes first, and it might, just to kind of learn a little bit more about what essential oils are and how to use them. But I'm not going to talk anything about that tonight. If you are watching this, or if you want me to send you a video that I had, have done one of those classes, I'll be happy to do that. If you'll just comment, I will send the link your way. So, around this topic, I feel like, essential oils have just become, just so popular over the last, especially the last year, it seems. You can go into stores now and see them where you really, I haven't experienced where you've been able to do that much, especially around my area. I live in a very small town, but now they're at Walmart and Walgreens and different places like that. You used to could probably find them at places like Whole Foods or a health food store, but they were really never, something that were more as mainstream as they are now, I guess. And so it really brings up the question, and people do kind of get confused about which brand do they want to use and what to start out with, and just a lot of different things. So I kind of wanted to just go over sort of why I chose doTERRA, why, 4 million other people did too. It's just interesting when you think about all this buzz and how, doTERRA is the largest essential oil company, why so many people choose them over another company. So I just like to share that with you. First off, I am not here to bash any other company. I'm definitely not going to do that. And honestly, I don't spend too much time worrying about other companies, to be quite honest with you. I just spend my time, kind of serving the people that I have on my team and learning more about essential oils in general. So it's not something that it's going to be, this company's bad, whatever. It's just going to be information about doTERRA in general. So definitely not going to be any bashing going on here. So I just wanted to let you know a few things. So I am definitely not a doctor. These are facts that are known to be true. They're that you can look up online. You can find these facts. I'm just kind of compiled all of them together so that you can kind of have I guess more of a rounded picture, or see the bigger picture of why doTERRA is such an amazing company, in my opinion, like I said. So just wanted to get that out of the way to begin with. So let's jump right in. I wanted to kind of go over, before I go over and kind of really jump into the meat of the class, like why does it matter that doTERRA spends so much time on their quality? It's really because there is no regulation around essential oils. Now, this is kind of the same as something like an OTC product or all of those things are kind of in a certain class, and the FDA really doesn't regulate these. And so that's kind of why you see a lot of the things over the counter, they'll disappear, they'll get recalled. Those things are not tightly monitored. So companies can really put things in them that, are found out later they're not safe, and it's just, it's kind of a gamble, honestly, to use anything like that, because it doesn't have very stringent testing. And that's kind of why you may want to think a little bit before you just go and just try anything, off the shelves, especially essential oils, something that you're going to be using on yourself and your family. You really want to make sure that it's safe and it's something that is going to provide benefits rather than some maybe unwanted side effects, or just plain not work. So that's really kind of why it is so important, and why they actually did come up with what they call CPTG, and we'll go into what that is and what encompasses that. So that's kind of why, since there is no regulation, that doTERRA kind of came up with their own almost stamp of approval, I guess, and I'll let you know exactly what goes into all of that that approval process that they have. So there's also different grades of essential oils. So some of these you might already have in your home, and even if you think I haven't used essential oils, you might actually have some of these in your home. So the first grade is synthetic, and that just is something like a scent in a body wash, or a Glade plug-in, or candles, or something like that. A lot of you have those in your home, maybe. Those definitely don't have any therapeutic benefit, and they are pretty toxic to your health. So that's a whole nother discussion, right? But it's definitely something that you're not going to see any benefits from that, as far as the way you feel, or just bodily function at all. So that's the biggest, actually, class of essential oils that they have, or grade. The next one is food grade, and this will be something like cinnamon and gum, or lemon in a salad dressing. They're basically just for flavoring. They don't have any real benefits as far as that goes. Then the next grade is therapeutic, and this is what you would really find at a health food store, or anything you would really buy on the shelf. These might be labeled 100% pure, and they might say all these great names on them, but like I said, the FDA doesn't regulate these, so really to be labeled 100% pure, it only has to have a very small percentage of the actual essential oil in there. And so most of the time it's very heavily diluted. And what that means is you would have to use so much more of that to even see a benefit, or you may not see any benefit, and they actually might have some contaminants in there that would be harmful to you. So when you purchase things off the shelf, that's kind of what you're getting. If you're paying, $5 for a bottle of, whatever kind of oil, it's, you got to kind of think about what you're paying for and the quality of it. I really like to equate this with maple syrup. So you know how you can get the highest grade maple syrup that's pure. It has it has a lot of actually benefits to it. Don't want to drink it all the time or anything. Use it. You want to use it sparingly, but still it has a lot of the vitamins and minerals that that pure maple syrup has retained in it. It's not adulterated at all. Then you can go to the store and buy the corn syrup, or the whatever that's flavored with maple flavoring, and it might kind of taste like the same thing, but if you've ever had the real thing, you would never want to buy that. And so I think that's it's almost like comparing apples and oranges to me. You really cannot compare the two, but they are kind of labeled the same. If you look at it and it says syrup on both of them, you kind of, unless you knew that. But that's kind of, to me, the differences between therapeutic grade, which you can buy at the store, and what you might see on the store shelves, and something like doTERRA. Because, when you think even going back to syrup, they take such pride in, I don't know what all goes into, honestly, getting maple syrup and harvesting it. But, I mean, it's a very arduous process, and it's something that is more expensive, again, because you have to use less of it. And it has all these benefits because it hasn't been tampered with much. So that's just kind of, I guess, an easy way to kind of understand what that means. So those are the 4 different grades. It's synthetic, food grade, therapeutic grade, and then CPTG. And CPTG is what doTERRA has kind of came up with as their standard. And it's called Certified Pure Therapeutic Grade. And I'm going to go into a little bit about that in a minute, but I just kind of wanted to mention that when I talked about grades. I'm just looking at my notes to make sure I didn't, yeah. Okay, so the first thing that I kind of wanted to go over was quality. And so this is something that doTERRA takes extremely important, or they place a high importance on it. doTERRA was founded as a company because the executives came together and they truly wanted to bring the highest quality essential oil that they could. And, a lot of them were already in the essential oil industry and didn't feel that that's what was happening. And they just really wanted to kind of up the ante and just really, put such efforts to make sure and, ensure that the essential oils that they were bringing to the market that people could use on their families, themselves, were the highest quality. They actually started it, out of their own pockets. A lot of them didn't, take a paycheck for the first couple years, and it was something that was very, very important to them, and it still is. They started this company because of that, and it still continues to be at the forefront of their vision and their mission. Not to talk too much about this, but just the fact that they took that gamble and really, a lot of them, like I said, went without a paycheck for a couple years. They're a zero debt company. They reached $1 billion status, I think, in under 8 years. I mean, it's just a very reputable company. The executives are extremely just nice, genuine people. Not that I haven't met all of them, but just to see them on stage, most of them are emotional just because they really, they've invested everything in this company because that's truly, they're very passionate about, like I said, bringing quality products to everyone. So when I talk about quality, it's just something that's very important to them because there wasn't a lot of quality product in the marketplace kind of before they started this company. There was a lot, and we'll kind of go through this. There's a lot of different ways that you can cut corners and maybe, save a little bit of money, different things. It costs a lot of money to run all these tests that they do and just go to the lengths that they do to provide this quality of a product. So that's just something that is definitely up there when you think about the brand doTERRA, and that's what they want. So when you think about quality, so it's interesting to me when I think about quality. I've kind of understand it in a different way now than I used to. When you're in college or you're maybe newly married and, you think about what quality means to you, it's different than it was back then for me, and I'll kind of explain about that. I mean, you used to go to the store and you wanted to get the best sales and you wanted to buy the cheapest food, and you just, you had this little money to live off of, and then even when when I got married, I just like to pinch pennies. I think that is just in who I am. But I didn't really understand what quality truly means when you buy a product. Maybe not necessarily clothes, which I do invest in quality clothes that I'm going to know that I'll wear all the time. But really, I'm talking about food and about things that go in my body and on my body. I think when you just don't know, you don't realize how much quality matters until you do know. And then it's kind of like, well, what are you going to do with that knowledge? Because once you know exactly what goes into the bad food that you put in your mouth or on your body, you realize why it's so cheap. And, if I wish I would have known that a little bit earlier, but, knowledge is power. And I think that's exactly why I'm doing this, is because it's so important to know why quality matters and why, even though you can get, a whole set of essential oils for half, even, less than that of what these oils cost, it doesn't matter because I know that they're not going to work that well. I know that they might even be harmful to me. Why would you even waste your money on that? That's just my opinion. And I know, from, like I said, from purchasing high quality food, your health is the best thing that you can invest in. And I feel like that to me is what quality means, and that's why I do probably spend the majority of my money on things that take care of my body, because I know that investing in my health is one of the best things that I can do for now and for the future, and to show my kids as well. So quality. So how do they, go about getting the best quality raw material to work with? Because that's where it all starts. When you think about essential oils, it's all about the plants that they come from. So yes, when we know better, we do better. That's right, Julie. We try to tell people that, right? And you can do with the information whatever you please, but once you've heard it, it's hard to go back, because you know. So getting the raw material that is absolutely the best on the planet, that's what they set out to do. And so to do that, you actually have to, to go where they grow in the wild. And we call that indigenous. And why that makes a difference is because you can grow all of these plants, fruits, flowers, trees that they get these essential oils from on a plot of land, and you could fertilize them and water them and make them grow, and they might look pretty to the to your eye. You're like, wow, you can grow quality plants anywhere. But the thing is that when something grows in the wild, it doesn't need any help. God put it there in that specific spot on the map, because that's where it's going to grow the best. And so that's what they went out and set out to do. They go out and find these plants where they grow in the wild, basically, and they source them from there. And the growers that are in that area, they know that crop is abundant. They know how to harvest it. They know how to take care of it. They know exactly the time to harvest it. They know everything about it. And so going somewhere like that and investing in those people, those plants, that's what's going to bring you the highest quality essential oil. And the thing is if you try to cut corners, because these are so concentrated, it takes just tons of plant material to make these essential oils, because they're so concentrated in those tiny bottles. And you think about how concentrated they are, small variances in the plant can make a huge difference when you think about using them therapeutically. And for a long time, essential oils were just, they were thought of as using for aromatic use and maybe topical use, but it was not anything like we use them for today. Definitely, way back in the day, I guess you could say. And it's really because there was not anything that was this high of a quality. And we're starting to see that when you get that high of a quality essential oil, it can do amazing things on your body. Any way you use it, aromatically, topically, internally. It's just something that can be of great benefit therapeutically to you. So that's why they have to take these extra steps to ensure that they have the best plant material. And two, their standards, and we'll kind of go through, I'm going to go through each test that they do in the next section, but, if they have a bad crop season, say, they can't really control the weather, of course, just say it was really cold one winter, way colder than it usually is, and it messed up the crop, they're just not going to use it, simply because their standards are so high. So that's why, there was a couple of our blend or single oils that we couldn't, purchase for, I think, a year, maybe a year and a half. And that was because, I think they did have weather issues, and they're just simply not going to use a crop that is below their standards. So that's how, much they take it, how seriously they take it. Also, when you think about quality and you think about all the therapeutic benefits that we're starting to see that these essential oils have, lots of doctors are starting to realize this, lots of just scientists and people that study these different things are starting to realize that we may need to look back at nature, because we're kind of at the end of different things, therapeutic pharmaceutical, different medications such as that. So it's something that they're starting to look more at, because I personally think this is the medicine of the future. It's been the medicine of the past. If you look at thousands of years ago, this is what they used for medicine, and I feel like we'll come full circle, and honestly, people will start to look at it again as probably their first line of defense. That's exactly what I look at it as, and I feel like more people will start to look at it as that in the future. But when you think about these doctors and they're studying these and they're trying to see what benefits they have to have the same product again and again. If they're doing studies, they can't have one bottle of lavender, and then the next one they get, it doesn't have the same properties to it. So that's exactly why most of these universities will only choose to work with doTERRA and use their products, because they see that the consistency is there, and that's how they're getting, valid results, because they can't really, produce valid results and produce consistent results if they don't have a consistent product. So just wanted to mention that, and that just kind of gives them even more credibility, because when you study something and you see that there's variance in the product, that's not a good sign for sure. Another thing is when they're going out and they're sourcing these from very remote regions, a lot of these people, I think I wrote it down, let's see. They source from over 40 countries, and more than half of those are developing countries. So when you think about what a developing country is, it's just a very poor country. And so, what are the impact they're going to have on these people? Are they just going to dive in, get what they need, and come out? That might be the easier thing to do, but no, they invest in these people. These people are just, they're very valuable to them, and they want to treat them in the best way possible. And so, they come in, and lots of times too, these people don't have any other way to make money. And so they come in, they pay them a higher wage for their crop. If they don't have running water or different necessities like that, they really invest in the community and make sure that they have what they need and give back. They have lots of, it's called co-impact sourcing, and they have a lot of other, like Healing Hands Foundation. So they really, really give back when they're in there, out, in the world, sourcing these oils from very, very poor countries. So that's something that I love, about them. I know when I purchase a bottle of oil that I'm helping someone across the world, and it's also helping me. So it's just a win-win situation, and then that just shows, again, their integrity. So wanted to go over testing. So testing actually is something that doTERRA spends a lot of money and time on. These tests are not cheap, especially with the amount of, them that they do, and the amount of oil that has to go through all of these tests before it can be, it can be sold to us. So it's actually 7 different tests from when it's harvested, the plant is harvested, until we actually can purchase it. So I wanted to actually go through each one of these tests. I think it's neat. This might bore some people, but I think it's neat to see what each test does, and that they really make sure they are looking at every single, property of the oil and the way it tastes and smells, and make sure that it's the same consistent result. So the first batch of tests begin immediately after distillation, and then sorry, I cannot get this out of my throat. Let me get some water. Excuse me. The second round is at their production facility. So the second round of tests is actually done at doTERRA. The third round of tests is at a third-party location. So to go through each of the 7 tests really quickly, I'm just going to tell you the name and then kind of what it does in a very short, precise way. Not to go through. I could read this forever. So the first one is an organoleptic test. Might have some problems pronouncing some of these. So this is just a sight, smell, taste, and touch test. So that's just a very basic, does it have the same feel? Because some of these, have a viscosity to it. Some are very thin, different colors. They're just kind of looking at that basic overall. Then there's a microbial test that tests if it has any virus, bacteria, any kind of contaminants in it, such as that. Then there is gas chromatography and mass spectrometry test, and that determines which compounds are present. And that's really what makes up an essential oil. It's really organic chemistry. If you've ever taken an organic chemistry class, a lot of these will sound familiar. I had to take a couple of these when going through pharmacy school, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was very interesting, just how different things have different chemical compositions. So it might sound familiar if you've taken one of those. And let's see. The next one is the FTIR test. It's called I'm going to mess this up, Fourier Transform Infrared Spectrometry. And it tests the structural components, and just make sure it kind of, you can look back at different batches and kind of compare, and that's what this test does. Then there's chiral testing. This ensures that there's no synthetic ingredients in there. There's isotopic analysis, which ensures the same constituents. That just really is kind of the same thing as the chemical compounds of it. Then there's heavy metal testing, and this just obviously makes sure that there's no heavy metals in there, and that essential oils should not have any heavy metals in there. So that's kind of just making sure that it doesn't. And like I said, if you think about all those tests, that's a lot. And so, like I said, they're a lot of money. So that's just another way that they ensure that they're giving you a product that is, only pure essential oil, and it's the highest quality you can buy. Now, and just kind of closing on this section, they actually just came out with a neat little website that you can go in, and if you have a bottle of essential oil, and I don't know if you can see that, it has a number on the bottom of it, and it's just the batch number, and you can go to sourcetoyou.com, and you can look up like the different tests that I just mentioned, all the results from it. So, to us, it might not, we might not really know what we're looking at, but there are critics out there that want to know these results because they want to see, it's just a whole different world, of different components they can have and very small differences that make a big difference therapeutically. So anyway, they wanted to be like, we'll give you all the information you want. We're going to be transparent here because we know that we're not cutting corners anywhere. So that's kind of why they did that website. And it was neat. I went on there today actually for the first time. I'd never been on there. You can look at different information about the growers, the distillers, the scientists, the practitioners. All of that's on there. And you can also look at the different bottles and see the test results. That's just another way that there's like, hey, we don't have anything to hide. We know we're doing what we say we're doing. So just kind of, it's a neat website to go on if you've never been on there. So just in kind of closing, I wanted to mention the fact that, like I said, sometimes when you're looking at essential oils and you know that you want to use them in your home, you might be like, well, I don't know if, my budget can, if I want to kind of invest in these. You just don't know. You see all these other ones that you can go to the store and pick up some for, $5, and I'll just try those. Why would you pay more for a bottle of oil from doTERRA versus somewhere else, And it's honestly something that I get asked a lot. And I wanted to kind of mention that and just really kind of put out there why I think that they're actually very cost effective if you look at it from the right angle, I guess. So, it kind of goes back to what I was saying. You really pay what you get what you pay for. I used to think, kind of roll my eyes at that. But honestly, if you look at quality and you really want to invest in your health and the reasons why you should invest in your health. If you already, like I said, this class is for people that know they want to use essential oils. Some people don't really know yet that they do. It's said in 3 to 5 years, everyone will have an essential oil in their home. So some people just aren't there yet. But if you already know that you do, why, and if you already know you do, you want to decrease your toxic load. So my thought is, why would you want to even bring in something that would probably already still contain, chemicals and toxins in it to begin with? Because that just kind of is counterintuitive to me. When you look at a product like that and you think it's less in cost, you're actually going to have to use about 10 times the amount of oil in one of those brands to equal the effectiveness and if you even smell these, you can tell the difference. But, you would only have to use 1 drop of this versus 10 of the others. So it just kind of, it doesn't really make sense to me, but it's just because I've seen from the other side. And I understand some people aren't there yet, but if you're here and you're watching this, you probably, have already used essential oils, so you're pretty much already there. So I just feel like if you're already wanting to better your health, wouldn't you want to go for the highest quality you can get? And of course, I know I would, and I know why. But it's kind of like if somebody said, would you want the best health that you can get, or would you just want mediocre health? I think most people would say, I want the best I can get. Well, to me, that's kind of like a no-brainer too. Like, if doTERRA is a reputable company, they spend and do all of these things to ensure that there is nothing in this bottle but pure essential oil. Why wouldn't you want the best of that so you can get and gain the best health from it? So, not to get on a soapbox or anything, but that's just my 2 cents on this. So, just a few things about cost. I already said, if you buy different ones, you would probably have to use a lot more. So that in itself would not be as big of a cost savings as you would think. Another thing is you got to think about what you're replacing with this. what are the things that, cleaners or self-care products or going to the doctor, I mean, if your child has, this is a common example we use, if your child has ear pain and, you have to go to the doctor, you have to get an antibiotic, you have to take time off work. I mean, all those things cost you time, that cost you money, that cost you, patience, I mean, it's a trying time if you have to do all that. So why not try some Melaleuca, right here on the back of their ear, 3 or 4 times a day. And just, it kind of makes sense. That would be pennies compared to what it would be on the flip side of that. So that right there is a reason why they would, the costs would go down. All these things to me, you might think, wow, that's a lot to invest in my health. But when you think about all these things, the cost keeps going down, and eventually, it's worth it even if it didn't go down to me. But those are just some things to think about when you think about investing in your health. Also, like I was mentioning, the things that you can make, cleaners for your house that are, pennies compared to the things that you would buy, especially, like I said, if you're already thinking about you want to use these in your home, and that must mean that you want to, decrease your toxic load. You're already probably buying those natural cleaners that cost more than the regular ones. So why wouldn't you just want to add, this is Purify right here that I have. Why wouldn't you want to add a few drops of this to some water, clean your house with that? On Guard is another one that's great. Those things cost very small amounts to make. So those are just another reason to me why the cost goes down. And I don't really go out there and research other things that essential oil brands that you can buy and how much they are and break it down. That's not really, like I said, what I'm here to do. I don't think. I'm here to bring you the information from what I know, because I know that these have saved me money. They've saved me time. They saved me just, sanity, really. I mean, they make life more simple for me. I know that if I need something to clean with, if my child has an ache or pain, if I do, if my husband does, we all just go to the same place. It just makes life more simple to me. And for me, if I'm using these all the time in all those areas, I want to make sure that what I'm using is the best I can get, and it's pure, and it's not going to cause any adverse effects if I use it the right way. Let's see, let me make sure that I had little notes. I wanted to make sure that I got everything. One last thing that I had mentioned on here. So, if, like I said, if you want to use these and your body is basically already clogged with all these, synthetic things that you've used over the past years, and you're trying to, do better because you know better, why would you, again, want to use something that may be clogging your system up again? And by clogging, I mean the chemicals and the toxic exposure that you've been exposed to, over the past few years, or maybe even your lifetime. If you don't allow your body to get rid of that by aiding it in detoxification and things like that, using natural products, not continually putting things on there that are not good for you, that are literally clogging your pores, and not allowing those things to get out of your body so that your body can function at a better I was going to say rate, but just basically, if you feel bogged down as far as no energy and headaches and just overall fatigue, I mean, that's because your body is crying out, give me something better. So why would you even really go and invest any money in something that's going to clog it even more? So that's just a note that I didn't want to skip over there. That was really the information that I wanted to bring to you tonight, as far as why you might want to choose this brand over another brand. Just in closing, I mean, this has basically become my profession. This is what I do, as far as I live this life. I study this all the time. I work with people all the time that, I'm just helping them implement these into their lives. I really take this seriously. And if I just bringing this information to you is something that I'm very passionate about. And if you're going to invest in these and really want to make this shift over to a natural life, you need somebody to work with. And that's what you don't get when you purchase something off the store shelves, or if you just purchase something online. You're not getting somebody that's going to help you implement these into your life. And that's what we're here for. Not just me, but there's others out there. If you've been working with somebody that's trying to help you, you really do need that to, I mean, I needed it too. You know, I didn't know what I was doing. You know, when you don't, you know, you get online and you look on all this stuff, you really don't know what's true and what's not. And to me, personal experience is way better than anything I can read online or anything I can get out of a textbook even, or, you know, a reference book. So working with somebody is extremely important when you want to make these changes and you want to do it right. You know, I know trial and error is just something that we all have to do, but wouldn't you just want to go and ask somebody, you know, if you're not feeling well, what do you use, rather than just wondering if this is the right thing? So I wanted to mention that, because that truly is, to me, it's worth whatever investment that you would put in to get the community and the support that you need. So in closing, I just wanted to mention that if you're not working with somebody already, I would love to help you get started. You know, if you just happen to land on here, even if you're not already using essential oils, you know, and maybe you've seen me, you're like, they just keep on talking about them. And, you know, we do, because honestly, I know that people need this information. I see every single day what they do for my life, what they do for countless thousands of other people. You know, 4 million people use doTERRA alone. You know, it's not like this is something that doesn't work. I mean, honestly, they're truly that effective, and so that's why I'll keep on talking about them. So I would love to help you get started. If that's something you're interested in, you know, comment on this video, send me a message. I would be more than happy to get you started and just help you whatever is best for you. And you know, there's a lot of great promotions that doTERRA has going on right now. I've got a few myself, so it's a great time to get started, especially with the new year. It's just something that, you know, if you look back a year from now and, you know, you invested in your health and you saw great benefits, there's just nothing like that. So I just remember, you know, I didn't know when I first got these in my home how much things would change, but when I look back, everything changed after that, and it's just way more than you would ever think would be possible. Just in every area of your life. It's interesting. I know people on here know exactly what I mean, but anyway, thank you for those sweet comments. Yes. Really, I mean, I love, you know, it was funny. I'll tell you guys this right at the end. We just got finished doing a detox, 7-day detox. Me and my sister kind of were running it, and we had people in the group, and I saw one of them on, a couple of them actually, at a shower that I went to on Sunday, and they were like, we feel like we're just aggravating you to death. And I'm like, no, you don't understand how much I love just helping people, you know? I mean, I just love that other people are that, you know, they want to make that change, and just helping them do that is something that I'll never get tired of. And I know I speak for my sister when I say that too. So I love helping people, and I look forward to helping you if that's something that you want to do. So thank you, girls, for joining tonight. And guys, if there was any on, it's usually just women. But you know, if you're watching the recording, if you have any comments, questions, concerns, please leave them below, and I'll go back and answer them. I hope you guys have a great night. I'll see you later.